Hello everybody, that is here. Very happy to see all of you on the other side of the screen. It has been several months since you saw me. That's because we was a little bit in turmoil as does mod itself with downsized. I also have some health issues of my own which still not resolved, but you know, things get settled more or less lately, and I decided that it's time to start making some videos and talk to you again. So hopefully you will be happy to see me as well. So what's happening here? I moved my studio to my house. I'm sitting in a basement, so hopefully it will be not much unexpected noise, especially from my dog. I have a doggy that like to bark when she see a body walking by our house, so she might do that, or she might show up here. And I'm pretty sure in one of the videos she will come up or come down and we'll say hello. So anyways, so what I would like to do is to make some sort of practice video and see how it works from a home environment, from the setup I created here, to hear how sound of my voice going on inside of the basement, also how setup is work in general, because I made a lot of presentations standing up and standing desk. Now I have to sit because I don't have standing desk anymore, yeah, we'll see. The product I'd like to bring you attention, and I find it interesting, is Alphacool Distro plate. And they have a marketing name of Distro plate series 240 and 360, which is corresponds to the size of radiators it can attach to. Also, you can attach it to the case as well. So this is how boxes look like, a little bit of brown carton, good quality, which is good for shipment, and some graphic print on it. So that's what we have here, and I have both examples in front of you that I would like to give you a couple technical details. But before we go into the discussion what is what, I would like to say what I actually like. So Distro plates, very popular item. I personally dislike them, but a lot of customers like them. And the problem with Distro plates, not a problem, but you have to keep that in mind, that a lot of Distro plates built specifically for a specific case, like Lian Li or Fractal Design or Corsair something. And then if you buy Distro plates that specifically fit that particular case, if whatever reason you want to change the case, you kind of screwed, because you bought pretty expensive piece of hardware which doesn't fit anywhere else. What I like about those ones, I would call them universal Distro plates if I will be in charge of marketing in Aphacool. And the reason for that, that they basically, while they exhibit all features of Distro plates on the market, but they actually not case specific. So you can attach those either to a radiator, and I'll show you in a minute how you can do it, or attach it directly to the case. So if you would like to make some changes in the future that includes changing of your case, you can take a reservoir with you. If you have a case specific reservoir, out of luck, spend more money. And we all know that water cooling get extremely expensive lately. I experienced huge increase in prices, everything from fittings to other parts. The blocks is just insanely expensive, and everything of that on top of the hardware. So we all forgot that maybe 10 years ago, remember that we all like to talk about things that, how it was called, future-proof or investment protection stuff, and everybody was laughing, it's a joke, never work, and just marketing bullshit, basically. But with the current cost of living, I think you start thinking again about the things that maybe save you money downhill. And if it will not happen, it's not happen, but at least you put some groundwork to do that. So again, what I like about those two, if you're into Distro plate design, you might look at those because they universal type and you can move them, reuse them in the future, and so on and so forth. So now let's talk about the product itself. I just give you a quick scoop what it is and what kind of variations, because it's quite a few different models. First of all, this is a reservoir and pump combo which is made specifically for D5 pump, length D5. You can buy version which already have a pump pre-installed, but this will be a pump which is a clone of not original length. This will be Alphacool clone pump, and if you don't like that, you can buy, or you already have pump laying around, you can save a few bucks and buy just a reservoir without pump installed, and then you just 4 screws and 1 single bracket, you can install it yourself, no problem. Now in terms of sizes, you can choose 2, 360 and 240, which presumably you would like to attach those 2 radiators of the appropriate size. So this will cover completely on top of 360 radiator, and this one will be nicely attached to 240 radiator, and it just goes like this. And you can see you have a nice gap, so the radiator still can breathe, and very nice design. But I can't say that it's only mandatory and only one way how you can attach this reservoir. For example, if you have a big case and you have 360 radiator in it, or even 240 480 radiator, you still can use a reservoir which will match size of your radiator, or you can use a smaller one, for example, because maybe you think you will be downsized in the future. You have a big case now, or because you have it, but you're looking for something smaller, so why not to take a smaller reservoir and use it, and then when you migrate you have a proper size version, because we all know, I hope you all know, that size of reservoir provide zero difference in terms of cooling performance. It's just a piece of hardware that provide you pump with uninterrupted supply of water. So if you have a bigger reservoir, it doesn't mean you cool better, so you can choose a smaller unit, no problem. And of course, it's not necessarily that you attach the unit to the radiator itself. You can attach it to the case, and it's not a problem at all. The next feature I would like to bring your attention, that a little bit related to the way how you design it. If we look into those 2 units and try to spot what's the difference there. So like look at this, and what you see. I hope you notice that the pump in one model is on one side. Here we have like a left side, and this is on the right side. So that's related to the situation when you want all your plumbing, your tubing go on one side or other. So for example, if you attach it, let's say to the case, or radiator attached to the case that on the same level as your motherboard, so maybe you want to have pump out of the way and you have all connections towards your components, so pump doesn't distract you from anything. But if you, for example, want to put it on the front of the case, then all those connections may be too close to motherboard and maybe start hitting memory and stuff like this. In this situation, it makes sense that pump close to the motherboard level and your plumbing all towards the front of the case. So these are 2 variations that you need to keep in mind. So first you choose the size of reservoir and pump combo, and second you choose where your pump is located, so your plumbing and your tubing runs goes in much nicer way. Now about the design itself, it's pretty straightforward. We have a main big area that actually feeds your pump with the liquid, and after that you have additional 3 zones. Yes, and it's the same on dual version. Again, we have a main area which is a little bit shorter, and you have 3 zones. So theoretically you can have how many components? So first 2 zones connected it will be, let's say, radiator, then you have next zones connected together, it will be your CPU, and the last one zone connected, it will be your GPU, something like that. So that's what it is in terms of design. And finally, I would like to talk briefly about really neat mounting methods that offered by Alphacool. I'm not sure it's exclusive, but the first time I come across this type of design, and I really like it. So how it's done? So you have basically two pieces. You have a plastic female piece that you attach either to your radiator, how I did it here. So you can see I attached 4 to this 240 rod. And you have a kind of metal post item that you get screwed into your reservoir itself, and then male female matching at heaven, you just click one on the other, and they will just latch and securely will sit in place. So it can be again radiator, or it can be a case itself, the panel of your case, doesn't matter, same thing. And you have a nice gap, half-inch gap between, so it still can breathe. I also assume that with the longer screws you can attach those little plasticky thingies to the assembly of radiator and fan, so it can be fans attached to radiator and then those receptacles attached to the everything if you have a long enough screws. One thing that you can keep in mind, which shouldn't be a problem, but it can be little things that you're not expected if you don't have a lot of hardware lying around, is that everything that is provided is M type of screws. So specifically those little screws that you use on this plasticky thing is M3. And for example, this is dark side radiator that use 332 type of screws, so I have to use my own screws to attach it. It could be the same situation for other type of radiators, or for the panel probably doesn't matter because you can go through and you have existing hardware. But there's little things that you can keep in mind. And the metal post that goes into this plastic bracket is attached to reservoir. This is no surprises, just everything will match very nicely, and it will work fine here. I really like this design because it's kind of universal, it can attach in a lot of places, and yeah, it's pretty neat. So what last thing that we have here that quite often, despite of the crazy prices on water cooling product, quite often you not get provided any manual any longer, and which was nice touch that the nice manual was included with this package, so you don't need to guess how to use the product. I personally find, maybe I'm old school or just old guy, I find that it is a little bit hard to read from the phone, and the phone gets switched all the time. So a little piece of paper, very nice. You still can download and print the same manual, even a little bit bigger, from the website. You can see that it's basically the same thing, just a much larger size. So we have this little brochure, which is essentially just a couple pages, and everything is relatively small. Here we have a huge diagram, so if you like big pictures, that's the way to go. So it can go both ways. And if of course you new cool kids that can do anything from the phone, you can see the manual on the phone and just follow the instructions there. So that's all I have to tell you and show you today. I hope you find this interesting. We'll see how it goes when I edit the final product, and hopefully next video will be even better. You haven't heard my dog, it was no additional noises, which is nice. And thank you again, I see you soon with the next thing is that I find interesting. I have a full queue lineup. Thank you very much. See you soon, bye.